wanted to start, before we jump into quadratic number patterns, I just wanted to start with some matric maths tips. And you're welcome to take a screenshot of this if you want to. But these are just some tips that I would like to give you before you actually start school on Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever it is next week. These are the things that I have discovered as a matric maths teacher, I think are really, really important to say to all of you at the outset of these lessons. Okay, so the first thing is try not to be absent from school. Okay, if you're not at school, your teacher can't teach you. Okay, which I know might sound silly, but you know, if you're not there to be taught, your teacher can't help you. And it's really important that you catch up whatever you miss as soon as you possibly can. Okay. The second thing is that Watobe is not a replacement for school. You have to go to class and you have to listen and you have to work and come to Watobe as well. Okay, so Watobe is here to help you with the things that you didn't understand in class. There's no ways that we can do what your teacher is going to cover with you in 2 hours during the week. Your teacher is going to see you 4 to 5, maybe even 6 hours during the week. There's no ways we can cover the same amount of work that your teacher will in class. So it's very, very, very important that you listen to your teacher. And if there are things that you don't understand, make a note of it. And then, you know, I'm also going to ask you guys, what would you like me to do with revision? Is there a topic that you'd like me to cover? Is there something that you've done that you don't understand? And then that will be your opportunity to say, okay, well, my teacher explained sigma notation, but I don't understand it. Please, can you, you know, spend a little bit of time talking about that. Okay, so that's really important. Okay, and then the other thing that I wanted to say to you is you need to work independently, and I'm sure that the majority of you are, but it's very, very important in matric to work or to create your own work. So in other words, don't wait for your teacher at school to give you extra questions to practice. Go onto the internet. There is so much information available. There is so much there for you. Go and find questions. When you've finished a section of work, try and find as many questions on that particular topic and work through them. Because the more exposure that you give yourself to a wider range of questions, the better it's going to be for you when it comes to writing tests and exams, and of course your end of year exams as well. Okay, so work independently, go and find your own work. Even if your teacher is a terrible teacher, and I'm sure none of you have terrible teachers and they're not giving you enough work, go and find your own. Don't let that stand in your way. And then the last thing that I wanted to say before we start doing quadratic number patterns is make sure that you keep revising your grade 11 work. So the grade 11 work that you did last year, the majority of it is tested in matric, not to the same depth perhaps, and there might be a few new questions, but your grade 11 work are your easier questions in grade 12. So you want to be able to do all the grade 11 work, get those marks, and then worry about tackling the grade 12 stuff, which is the more difficult questions. So some sections where we often struggle, and where you can certainly go back and make sure that you know what you're doing, because all of this is going to be tested again, are functions. So your parabola, your hyperbola, your exponential function, etc., analytical geometry. So make sure that you can distance formula, midpoint formula, gradient of a line, equation of a line, etc. That gets asked in matric as well. Trig, there is grade 11 trig is so important. Your cast diagram, your reduction formulae, all that stuff. You need to make sure that you've studied all of that. And then Euclidean geometry is another thing that gets tested. Normally what they do with geometry is your geometry section is worth about 50 marks. 25 of that is grade 11 and the other 25 is matric. So your grade 11 Euclidean geometry, which is something that we often struggle with, is also important. So yeah, I just wanted to give you those tips at the outset before we get started. Okay, are there any questions? Are we ready to get started now? Everybody happy? Are we all smiling?
I guess everyone is good since they're not asking any questions. Hey, my people. My lady says yes. My cover
Ready.
says
Okay. All right. Wonderful.
uh,
Elam, let's just jump straight into things here. Okay. So what we're going to talk about today are the basics when it comes to quadratic number patterns. And cool, Bandile, I like your style. Quadratic number patterns, this is tested in matric, which is why I'm doing a lesson on it today. So today's lesson on Tuesday is going to be on the basics. And then on Thursday, when I see you guys again, we're going to go and have a look at some more difficult types of questions. All right. So in grade 11, we dealt with quadratic number patterns, and they have a general term in the form Tn equals an squared plus bn plus c. And a typical kind of example that we would be given in a case like this is to consider the following number pattern. So they would give us 2, 3, 6, 11. Those are the first 4 terms of the pattern. They want us to determine, in the first instance, the general term, the nth term, for this number pattern, and then determine the value of the 42nd term. So essentially what question A is asking us to do is what? What do they really mean by that? When they say determine the nth term or the general term, what does that mean? Can anybody tell me? What does it mean? What are they telling me I'm supposed to be doing here?
You can put it on your chat, or you can raise your hands. You can explain yourself. There we go. Let's go. See those answers.
Okay, so the equation, right? So specifically, what, you're on the right track, now, lady. Specifically, what in the equation? What do they want from you? Sure, absolutely. So the equation to figure out the pattern of the given set, the rule. Yes, that's right, Naledi. That's what they want. What they're really getting at here when they tell us to determine the nth term is they're asking us to work out the values of A and B and C. Okay, that's what it means. They want us to, that's it, there we go. Quite right. Okay, Kumutsile, perfect, good job. Okay, so how do we calculate the values of A and B and C? Can anybody remember from last year? There are rules that we have to use, and your teacher would have explained to you where these rules come from. Can anybody remember which letter do we work out first? A, quite right, Naledi. And how do we work out what A is equal to? Ah, there we go. Oh, good. 2A is the second difference. Good, Thuli. Mikhail, work out A first, 100%. Okay, so the first thing that I have to do is work out my pattern of differences. Okay, so I'm going to write over here 2 and 3 and 6 and 11. And I'm going to work out my first differences. So that's going to be term 2 minus term 1, or term 3 minus term 2, or whatever the case is. So I'm going to say 3 minus 2 is 1. 6 minus 3 is 3. 11 minus 6 is 5. Okay, so this row over here, these are referred to as your first differences. And what can you tell me about the first difference, or the first difference row? There's something that it has a certain characteristic in all quadratic number patterns. Does anybody know? Not necessarily even numbers. Ah, there we go. Okuhle, lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. It is a linear number pattern. Brilliant. So this is always I hope that's easy enough to see. Always a linear pattern. So if something is referred to as a linear pattern, what is its characteristic? I really loved what you said there. Hang on, let's go back here. Okuhle, what is the deal with linear number patterns? How do we know that a number pattern is linear? There we go. That's it. Lovely, guys. Okay, they have a constant difference. All right, and that's exactly the case with 1 and 3 and 5, because 3 minus 1 is 2. In the same way that 5 minus 3 is also 2. Lovely. Well done, everybody. That's absolutely perfect. Okay, and then this row over here is what we refer to as our second difference. Okay, and when it comes to a quadratic number pattern, your second difference is always going to be the same value. Okay, so always the same value. So all quadratic number patterns share this characteristic in that their first differences is always a linear number pattern, and the second difference is always the same number. That's how we know for sure that a pattern is quadratic. And it's going to become important to us in matric to know the difference between an arithmetic or a geometric pattern and also those which are quadratic as well, because that's our grade 11 work. Okay, so now back to what we were talking about before. I said to you, what does it mean when they ask us for the nth term? All right, and you said we have to work out what A and B and C are equal to 100%. So I want to go back to that. We have to work out what A is first. Mikhail, you told us we had to work out A first. What do I use to work out A? Can you remember, Mikhail? If you guys can't remember, it's not a problem. You use the second difference, absolutely. What am I going to do with the second? That's it. There we go, Nolwazi. Perfect. Okay, so we use our second difference. And what we do is we make 2A equal to our second difference. And that gives us our way of being able to work out what A is. So we're going to divide both sides by 2, and hence A is going to be equal to 1 in this case. All right, well done, very good. Let's use another color here. Let's go with pink. Actually, pink and red, let's go with blue. Okay, so now I want to work out what B is equal to. What rule do I use for that? How do I work out what B equals? That's it. Okay, so Thuli, quite right. 3A plus B equals the first difference, but it's got to be the first term of the first difference. So yes, Namusa, what you wrote there is also 100% perfect. Okay, it's got to be the first term of the first difference. So we take 3A plus B, we make it equal to 1, we sub in what A is equal to, and then we can work out the value of B. So in this case, B is going to be equal to -2, if I am not mistaken. Well done, guys. That's absolutely brilliant. Okay, so now somebody is going to tell me how to work out C now. How will I get the value of C?
I'm just impressed by all of you. They remember all of this.
They do. They do.
Yeah,
I should have gone straight to the
really
difficult
do.
questions, shouldn't I? There we go. Thuli says A plus B plus C equals 2. Good. Namusa, Nolwazi, Naledi. Beautiful. Perfect, perfect, perfect. You guys are great. Okay, so A plus B plus C equals 2. So that's got to be the first term of the quadratic pattern. Okay, so we know that A is equal to 1. B is equal to -2. All right, and now we're going to solve for C. So C is going to be equal to 3, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right, Yolanda?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. All right, so that means that our nth term Tn is equal to, so an squared, so it's going to be 1n squared plus bn, so minus 2n plus c, so that's going to be plus 3 in this case. And now we can go back and we can say, yes, cool, we've determined the nth term, we're very happy. Oh, sorry, that was supposed to be a tick, even though it looks like a sick tadpole. Hence determine the value of the 42nd term. So how would I determine the value of the 42nd term? What would I do? Can anybody tell me? What are they asking me to do? What does that mean? There we go. All right, so sub, that's it, make n equal to 42, quite right. All right, so Nolwazi, Tuli, perfect. That's exactly what we're going to do. I see Lusanda, when you've said how is b equal to -2, let's just quickly go back here. Lusanda, do you understand why 3a plus b equals 1? Are you okay with that? Okay, so then what I've done is I've substituted. So I've replaced this a over here. You can see where I've substituted. I've substituted that 1 in here. So 3 times 1 is 1. So when I take that 3 over to the other side, it's going to end up being 1 minus 3, which is where the -2 comes from. Does that make sense? Is that okay, Lusanda? Pleasure, no problem. All right, so as you guys were saying, the value of the 42nd term, so Tn, so I'm going to sub 42 in here, minus 2 times 42, plus 3, and then I can work out whatever my answer is. Okay, what did you guys get for that? I actually haven't worked that out. Please do share your answers as well. I don't think for 1 minute I get everything right. I certainly don't.
Tuli got 1,683.
That's what I'm getting as well.
Zanele also got the same.
Cool.
Sorry, Tantam, can we talk? I will just send a private message to Tantam.
Yes, if you can. Thank you. That's great. Awesome, guys. Yeah, me too. I'm getting the same answer. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Okay. Good job. Very nice. I'm so impressed. There are often so many matrics who don't know this. I almost feel as though this lesson is now a little bit too easy for you guys. I should have made the questions more difficult. But anyway, hopefully we'll get a chance to look at some more interesting stuff before this lesson ends. Okay, very nice. What we do need to do is just go back and answer question B. They've asked us to determine which term is going to be equal to 1091. Well, what does that mean? What are they telling us when they tell us when they ask us to determine which term is equal to 1091? What does it mean for us? There we go. Namusa, you are on fire, girl. That is great. Okay, so take the general number pattern, the nth term, and make it equal to 1091. Okay, so in other words, what they are telling you in this case, this is the big difference between question A and question B. In question A, when they ask us to determine the value of the 42nd term, they are saying to us, n is 42. We have to calculate what Tn is. Here in question B, they are saying to us Tn is 1091. We now need to work out what n is. So it is the opposite question. All right, so I'm going to do exactly what you said, Namusa. I'm going to take, I don't know where I'm going to do this. I never ever leave enough space. It's ridiculous. I tell you what, we know what our nth term is, and we've got this in front of us. Okay, so what I'm going to do, hang on, let's just make it a little bit bigger. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of this over here, because I think we're all okay with that. Sorry, guys, I really should have left more space. Okay,
Can see it clearly, though. Yeah.
Can you see it clearly? Oh,
yes.
good. All right, as long as it's clear, I'm happy. Okay, so now we're going to take, so this is now question B, not question A, and we're going to take n squared minus 2n plus 3, and we're going to make it equal to 1091. That is correct, hey, Linda? Yes, okay. So in this situation here, this is a very common question. There would definitely be a mark for us equating those two. The next thing that we would have to do is get it into what? What's it called? Anybody know what's the next thing I need to do with this? Let's have a look what you guys are saying. A trinomial, yes, lovely. A trinomial, yes, Akutli, which we're then going to factorize. Yes, quadratic form, standard form. That's exactly it, Tuli. That's 100% the right word. Take to the other side. Beautiful. Well done. Okay, and what must I not forget to do when I have taken the 1091 over to the other side? What must I not forget to do? That's it, Namusa. I've got to make it equal to 0. Okay, because I am solving. Okay, so I've got to solve an equation that I'm solving. All right, so now I have a choice. Either I can factorize this monster, or if I want to, I can use the quadratic formula. What would you guys prefer? Shall I factorize or shall I use the quadratic formula? Naledi, quadratic formula. Okay. All right, no problem. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to say n equals negative b. There's going to be negative 2 plus or minus b squared minus 4ac. And I've just got to be very, very careful about my substitution, all over 2a. All right, so now if you are using the quadratic formula matrix, you must show the step that I have written in red, okay? Because the mark that you would get for that line is the same mark they would give you if you factorized. So if you wanted to factorize, that's not a problem. You're welcome to do so, but you have to show that you've subbed into the quadratic formula. Okay, very, very important. In maths, we have to show what formula we sub into. Okay, so now we can work out our two solutions for n. You guys are welcome to share with me what you get as an answer. I'm just going to put that into my calculator as well.
Yeah, let's go, my people.
We all get the same thing here.
Let's put those answers on the charts. Okay. I like the fact that you chose quadratic formula because at least you just plug all the numbers. Tuli gets 34.
Tuli gets 34. Lovely, Tuli. Is that our only answer though, Tuli? Okay, lovely. Or n is equal to, agreed, negative 32. That's it, Naledi. Quite right, Mikhail. Okay, so there should be two solutions. Good job, everybody. But, there's a big but here. Which one of these two is not appropriate and why? Always choose positive. Why do we always choose positive here, Naledi? What's the deal with n? We get no solution. Fine. Square number is negative. T1 isn't negative. Substitute each answer and you should get 0. This is interesting. Okay, so I love, you're quite right, Tuli. When you take a number and you square it, provided that the negative is inside the bracket and obviously not outside, you're quite right. You're always going to get a positive answer. Substitute in answer, you should get a 0. That's true. So Ayanda, what you're doing is that you're saying that both of those roots satisfy the equation, which is also very true. Then iPhone, we just need to get your name. You said term 1 isn't negative. Okay, but if term 1 was negative, would a negative solution for n then be acceptable? So if I start, like, for example, here, if I've got this pattern, if you have a look at question 3, my first term is a negative, it's -4. So can I have a negative answer for question B here, where they say to me, determine which term will equal -810. Can that answer be negative? Okay, so this is something that's important for us to consider. All right, now, the answer is n can never be negative, right? Remember, what do Tn and n actually represent? Okay, n represents our inputs. Tn represents our outputs. So what we are doing is that we are counting the terms in the pattern. So we say that 2 is term number 1. And we say that 3 is term number 2. And we say that 6 is term number 3. So the first term is 2, the second term is 3, the third term is 6, the fourth term is 11. When we get all the way down here and we get to term 42, we work out that when 42 goes in, 1683 comes out. So n has to be a natural number. Okay, so this n over here has to be natural. Okay, so n is natural. What are natural numbers? Okay, now I'm making you guys think all the way back to like grade 8 or grade 9. We were all in the midst of COVID and all sorts of other nasty things going on. What do we mean when we say n is natural? I get what you're saying. Yeah, there we go. That's it. Yes, natural numbers are real, but not all real numbers are natural. Teddy? Perfect. Okay, so in other words, we are counting at, these are our counting numbers. We start at 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there are no fractions, there's no 0, there's no negative numbers. Okay, so if you are solving for n, like we were in this question, you can sometimes find that you'll get a fraction. A fraction is not a natural number. Okay, so you would exclude that as well. If you get a negative number, that's an integer, it's not natural. All right, so you will make your selection based on which of your solutions is the natural number. So here we would accept 34 as our answer because 34 is natural and negative 32 is not. Okay, so very, very, very important. We're not always just going to disregard a negative answer. Okay, so it's specifically because n needs to be a natural number. That's why we're disregarding the negative. Does that make sense? I'm just checking in with you guys. Are we happy? Thumbs up, emoji.
Yeah, that will definitely help us to understand where you are. There we go, Nolazi. Alarm also.
Cool. Are we all fine? Oh, good.
Well done, guys.
Cool. Lovely. Because I know often, it's just one of the things that we see often as teachers, people immediately go and disregard a negative answer, but it's got to be based on context. Oh, look at Namusa's smile. That's gorgeous. Lovely, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're all feeling positive about that. Okay, so enough blabbering by me. I'm going to be quiet now, and we are going to have a look at this question. So you only have to do one. So either you can do, if you're feeling shy and maybe you're struggling a little bit with this, and that's perfectly fine, do question 2. If you are feeling confident and happy and you think you know what you're doing and this is all very easy for you, then you can do question 3. Yolanda and I are going to give you about 5-6 minutes. We'll see how it goes. And then I'm going to reveal the answers. And then we're going to go on and look at some exam questions before our lesson is over. Okay, everybody happy with that? So hopefully you've got your pen, your pencil, your book, your calculator, and then just pick one. Okay, you don't have to do both. Please just pick one, and then we'll, and yeah, and if you've got any questions, remember Yolanda and I are here to assist you. Okay. All right, everybody, ready, steady, go.
Let's go. I'm just cheering all of you guys. And whoever is, actually, it's not whoever is brave, maybe whoever is up for a challenge. That will be nice. That when you're done, you can just explain to I and teacher Leah how you did your question. That would be nice. I didn't hear any single voice. People, you don't need to raise your hand so we can hear your voices. Like this, I don't have to hear my own voice and teacher Leah's voice only, even though it's nice voices. But I would like to hear your voices also. That would be awesome.
Thanks, guys.
They did really well, though. I can't believe everyone just
just jumped straight in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very, very positive.
That's awesome. We're starting in a very good, strong note.
We certainly are. We certainly are. Okay, so Yolanda will give him about 5 minutes and then we'll see where everybody's at, okay?
That's perfect. I'm sure. I believe in my people. I'm sure to impress us somehow. They'll do really good.
I'm sure they will. And I'm just going to put the quadratic formula up here as well. And then at least.
Yeah. Remember, even if you're feeling a bit lost, just try it. And then you can ask questions and you will see where you made your mistake. Because I'm sure teacher Leah will explain to us as soon as we are done also on how to do the questions. So
perfect. Yes, I will.
It's not.
I'm just going to go and grab some water quickly, Yolanda. Okay.
That's fine. That's fine. Let's go, my people. I'm just here as a cheerleader. Like I said, I'll cheer you guys up. We can do this. I know we're getting there. Whenever you are ready, you can just raise your hand or you can just say on the chat that, yes, I got it. And then like this, we can see what you got. Yay, our first student. It's iPhone. Sorry, I get so excited when you guys
Good job. Me too. Me too. That's brilliant. Well done, iPhone. And I'm so pleased that you tried the more difficult question as well. That's brilliant.
Oh. And what's your name, by the way? Do you want me to change the iPhone? Because
Yeah.
we're gradually just saying and calling you iPhone. Lusanda has a question.
Sure, Lusanda. I have a question. If I bring numbers negative and you bring it to the other side, does it change to positive? Yes. So, Lusanda, if you are moving a term from one side of an equal sign to the other, then your sign is going to change. Yes. So, Naledi's also got 3A.
Nice. Everybody's challenging themselves. I like it.
Oh, well done, Thuli. Thuli's done with 3.
Wow.
Brilliant, Thuli. I'm sure the others will be done shortly. Thanks, Thuli. Well done. Good, Zanele. Well done, Tato. Well done, Maria. Well done, Norwazi.
Anyone who's up for a challenge, raise their hand like this. They can explain. I can't wait to hear your voice, guys. Am I the only one who's very chatty, and no one else? Everyone is like, no, ma'am. We just want to type things. Get excited when you guys talk to us. Like this, we can hear your voice, how you did it, and then you either get corrected or we all learn from you. So that would be great.
Yes. So we're going to wait another couple of minutes and then we will share our answers. Well done, Elam. No, Naledi, it's not possible. So if you, well, let's just say it this way. If you've got one natural number and then the other number is a decimal, then the number that isn't, the number that doesn't have the decimal would be the correct answer, most likely. But if they're both decimals, then something's gone wrong. Okay. Yes, Lusanda. So if the value of A is -1, you would write Tn equals minus n squared. Okay. Or if you wanted to write -1n squared, obviously that's also okay. All right, so one more minute, and then we're going to take some answers from you guys.
We actually have a poll today too.
Oh, do we? Okay, all right. So then we've got to make sure that we finish in time with that as well. I meant to ask you if that was, we were still going to do that. Okie dokes. All right. So I'm sorry if I'm stopping you and you're not 100% finished. It's just that I would obviously like to be able to go through the answer to this and take any questions. And then we've also got to do a poll. I'm hoping to maybe squeeze in an exam question before we say goodbye, but let's just see how things go. Okay. So the general term, if I may call on some people to share, if that's all right, Elam, would you share with us what you got for A? What is your A equal? So in other words, Tn equals An squared plus Bn plus C. What did you get for A in 3A, Elam? Are you feeling shy, Elam? Nolwazi, what did you get for A? Oh no, hang on, maybe I was a little. Can I help? Yes, Naledi, go for it. With pleasure. What did you get for A? Negative 844 for A. Are you sure? Don't remember getting that myself. Hang on a second. Let's just go down here and go and have a look. All right. So this was question 3. So I got, if you guys have a look over here, I got A is equal to -1. Yes, me too, Norwazi. Okay, where did you get, so how did you get -775? Yeah, no, Naledi, go for it. You can unmute and then ask. It's okay. Oh, it's all right, Elam. Don't worry. I also, you know what, Elam, I've been doing maths for years and I still make mistakes all the time. Okay, but I don't want to put you on the spot. Naledi, you're welcome to unmute and ask if you want to. Let's just find.
I think that it's on me that they cannot unmute. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to check
Oh,
the.
Naledi says she can't. Can you try and
Yeah,
help, Linda?
I'm trying to see the settings.
Okay. Hang on a second. Naledi. Let's just find her here.
I got it. Now, lady,
You
you
got
should
it.
be able to unmute now on your side.
Hi, yes, thank you. So, okay, my A is equals to -1, and my B is equals to -9, and my C is equals to 6. So, for me to get the term 255 is equals to -844, I had substituted my N squared with 25 squared minus 9 times 25 plus 6.
Okay, so absolutely. So what you were doing there was consistent with the answer that you had. Now, let's just double check. This is what I did, but maybe I'm not correct. Yolanda, please also look critically at my work. So our pattern went minus, let's just double check. It went -4, -10, -18, -28. So -10 minus -4, I got -6. Yolanda, do you agree with me?
Yes, I agree with -6 because it's -10 minus -4.
Yes. So we would have said -10 minus -4, which would have given us -10 plus 4, which is where I got my -6 from. So this is correct, this is correct, this is correct. Then here, to work out the first term or any constant difference, we're going to say -8 minus -6. So that's going to give us -8 plus 6, where I got -2 from. So now we all agree, well, most of us are agreeing that A was equal to -1. So now we're going to take that, we're going to substitute it in here. So what we've got is 3 times -1, which is -3, plus B equals -6. What's going to happen? I don't know if anybody remembers. I think it was it was Lusanda. Remember, Lusanda asked, what would happen if you took a negative over to the other side? It would become a positive. So -6 plus 3. That's why I got -3 is my answer over here and not -9. Does that make sense, Naledi? No worries, no worries. Do you know how many mistakes I make? Please don't apologize. Okay, and then here we've got A plus B plus C. So it's -1 -3 plus C is equal to -4. And then if you take the 1 and the, well, the -1 and the -3 over to the other side, they would both be positive, and that's why I got C is equal to 0. All right, so that's how come I ended up with my nth term being Tn equals -n squared -3n. Is there anybody else who got that? Teddy says it's +3n and not -3n. Have I made a mistake, Yolanda?
I'm checking on that one. I don't see everything.
See, because here, Teddy, 3 times -1 is -3. Then when you take this -3 over to the other side, it's got to change its sign and become +3. So -6 plus 3 is -3. That's why I'm getting B is -3. Okay, no worries, you got the same answer as me, okay? So Teddy, just check on that. Julie, you got the same answer?
Correct, yeah.
All right. Okay, so then you will get consistent accuracy marks. So if you worked out the nth term incorrectly, they will still give you consistent accuracy marks for the end. All right, but we don't want you to get consistent accuracy marks. We want you to get everything. So now going working out what term 25 is, I'm obviously going to sub 25 in here. I got -700 as my answer over there. All right, is everybody happy with that? And then over here, now this would have been a little, thanks. Sofelo. Thank you, Naledi. Yes, okay, cool. Then here again, this would have been a consistent accuracy mark. So in other words, as long as you took your nth term and you made it equal to this, you would get a mark there. But it's going to be difficult if you have got your nth term incorrectly, because then what's going to happen is that this is not going to work out nicely. When you do your quadratic formula, you're going to end up with 2 decimals. Probably one of them is not going to be natural, etc., etc. Here I factorized. I didn't use the quadratic formula, but it really doesn't matter. That's this line over here. So here we again want to get it into standard form. Here we are going to either factorize or reduce the quadratic formula, and we should have got n is 30 as an answer. Okay, are there any questions?
It's only Teddy. I'm not sure if Teddy has a question, but Teddy, I've given all of you guys the power to unmute yourself and mute yourself.
Oh,
So
hang on. Nolwazi's right. I've made a mistake here. Oh, no. You know what, Nolwazi? No, I didn't make a mistake. Do you know what happened, Nolwazi? When I took the -810 over to the other side, can you see here I changed, oh, but hang on a second, that should have been a plus then, shouldn't it? Because that's now changed its sign. Hang on, Nolwazi, hang on. So this should be n squared -3n, sorry, -n squared -3n plus 810 equals 0, which means I should have n squared plus 3n minus 810 is equal to 0. So you see, there we go. I also make mistakes. I was wrong here. Hang on a second. Let's just correct this. So n is going to be equal to -3 plus or minus 3 squared minus 4. A is 1, C is -810 all over 2a. So therefore, n is going to be equal to, let's just get this. Yeah, quite right. I don't know, somebody was saying to me, you got n is equal to 27. You are right, I was wrong. Or n was equal to -30. Sorry, I made a mistake here with my signs. Okay, so here We would disregard that answer. We would accept 27 and we're good to go. Yeah, it always is, Naledi. These silly, I mean, look at me. I'm also making silly little mistakes. Okay. So, you know, and I shouldn't be making silly mistakes, and yet I did. So my apologies. Younger, do you want to ask a question?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
I did question 2, so I wanted to see the corrections, please.
No problem. No problem. Okay. Let's just, there we go. There's number 2. I hope I didn't make any mistakes there.
Okay, thank you.
No
I
problem.
wonder if it's possible for you to take
Oh.
screenshots like this. We can rush to the other class.
Yes.
So if you
So-
are able to take a screenshot, please do so.
So unfortunately, we're going to have to love and leave you at this point. I'm so sorry we ended so quickly. Thank you, everybody. I really enjoyed this lesson. I'm sure you did too, Yolanda.
Yes, it was very nice. And I think I'll be left with them if you rush to the other one.
Yes,
So that
I
can
will.
get
I will go to the others. Okay, thank you.